Have you ever caught yourself thinking that life controls you instead of you controlling it? Have you wanted something for years but never started? Or maybe you convinced yourself not to take the first step. How many times have you started and quit? How many opportunities slipped away while you hesitated? If even one of these questions resonates with you, listen carefully. Today we will talk about 13 beliefs that can turn your destiny around. Each of them solves a specific problem that keeps you stuck. And if you apply them in your life, your results will inevitably change. 1. Responsibility. How do you take responsibility instead of making excuses? Have you ever felt the world is against you? That circumstances are too heavy and opportunities seem reserved for others? That's a trap. As long as you believe weather, economy, or someone else's connections decide everything, you surrender your own power, your own control. Picture a car. You sit inside complaining about the rain, the traffic, the bad road. But the problem is, you're in the passenger seat. The moment you grab the wheel, the road stays the same, but the direction is yours. Responsibility is that wheel, and only by holding it can you drive to where you want. And once you realize you're steering, the question is, where exactly are you going? That's where desire must be turned into a plan. 2. Desire. So, how can you turn desire into a plan? How many times have you dreamed of a bigger income, a new life, a change, and left it written in a notebook as nothing more than a wish? Desire without a plan is smoke. Imagine building a house. Bricks can sit in the yard for years, but without a blueprint, they're just a pile of stones. The blueprint turns chaos into walls, a roof, a solid home. So too with a dream. Without structure, it's just scattered bricks. But once you make a plan, real construction begins in your life. And for the building to stand, it needs a foundation. That foundation is faith. But to turn it into a building, faith requires strategy. 3. Faith and strategy. What does it mean to make faith a strategy? Have you ever started something while secretly preparing to fail? No wonder the outcome matched your doubt. Picture a bridge in the fog. You can't see the whole span, but the moment you step forward, the planks appear beneath your feet. Another step, and the path continues. That's how faith works. It reveals the road only to those who walk. Without it, a plan is just a dead drawing. And faith is strengthened by the words you repeat to yourself every day. This is the power of autosuggestion. 4. Autosuggestion. How does autosuggestion work, and how do you use it? Have you ever noticed your inner voice whispering, "You can't do it, you aren't knowledgeable enough, you won't succeed," and so on? That voice breaks you down faster than any outside obstacle. Imagine a garden. Every word you repeat is a seed. Negative words grow weeds. Positive statements grow fruit. You choose what to plant. And by that choice, you decide what grows in your life. But positive thinking alone is not enough. Growth needs nourishment. That's where specialized knowledge comes in. 5. Specialized knowledge. Why do you need specialized knowledge? Allow me to ask you a question. How many courses have you taken? How many books have you opened? And how much of that turned into results? Think of a laser. Light scattered across a room warms barely at all, but focused into a beam, it cuts through metal. Knowledge works the same. General knowledge shines weakly, but focused knowledge breaks barriers. It turns you into an expert. But how would you know where to focus that beam? That's where your imagination comes into play. It helps you to find solutions. 6. Imagination. How can your imagination help you find solutions? Let's look at the example. Have you ever been stuck with a problem that felt impossible? Picture a key ring. You hold only one key for a door, and it doesn't fit. You assume it's a dead end. But imagination hands you a whole set, and one of them unlocks it. Imagination is the source of new doors and exits. But seeing the door isn't enough. You must decide to walk through it. Making this decision means taking an action. And taking action makes decisiveness the most important step. 7. Decisiveness. Why is decisiveness important? And why does it change everything? How many times has opportunity stood right next to you while you hesitated? Think of a train at the station. It doesn't wait long. If you hesitate, the doors close and the train leaves. A decision is stepping into the carriage. Even if it's less comfortable than expected, you're moving forward. And once the train is moving, only one thing matters: persistence. 8. Consistent persistence. What is the power of persistence? Let's look at it this way. In the past, how many things have you started and abandoned? Imagine a drop of water falling again and again onto a stone. The stone is hard, but the drop wins with repetition. How does it win? Not force, but consistency creates change. And once persistence becomes a habit, a new resource appears: the strength of community. You begin to attract like-minded people into your life. You form a team, a mastermind. 9. The power of a mastermind. How can a mastermind multiply your power? Have you felt like you're walking alone against the whole world? Picture batteries. One barely lights a bulb, but 3 together shine brightly. People work the same way. In a group, ideas amplify and shine stronger. And when that energy appears, it must be directed, not wasted. Just like a laser beam mentioned earlier. 10. Directing and channeling the energy. How do we channel energy into creation? Think of a time when you procrastinated to do something important and spent time scrolling on social media instead. Or a time when you had a pointless argument with a stranger and felt completely drained after. Sounds familiar? That was your energy leaving you in nothingness. Have you noticed how your energy leaks into nothingness regularly? Just like a river. Without a bed, it erodes the banks and washes everything away. But with a dam and channel, that same water gives electricity and harvest. Energy is always there. The only question is, does it destroy or does it build? And to keep it working for you, it must be guided not only by day, but by night through the subconscious. You got to befriend your subconscious and make it your ally. 11. Subconscious. Wait, but how do you make the subconscious your ally? Let me ask you this. Have you ever had a mind so crowded that you couldn't see a solution? So many thoughts, so much information, and so many doubts all overloading your brain at once. What is your mind really transmitting to you and into the world when there's so much noise? Think of a slow cooker. You put in the ingredients at night. In the morning, a meal is ready. The subconscious works the same way. Give it a clear task in the evening, and in the morning it will serve you an answer. But for it to work cleanly, the noise must be removed. How? Occasional social media detoxes, journaling, meditating, taking walks in nature, allowing yourself to sleep in, and removing the anger triggers out of life for a while, whether it's alcohol, low-quality foods, or people whose company you find toxic and make you irritated. When the noise is removed, your mind begins transmitting. It becomes a channel, a transmitter. 12. Your mind is a transmitter. How does the mind work like a transmitter? Let's look at the example. Have you ever felt drained by endless news and chatter? Picture a radio. If you keep turning the dial, all you hear is static, but tune it carefully and clear music plays. The mind picks up ideas the same way, but to receive them, it needs silence. And in that silence, what emerges is what we call the sixth sense, intuition. 13. Intuition. What is an intuition and why it is often referred to as a sixth sense? Intuition, in essence, is a level of trust you have for yourself. Have you feared making a decision because you felt like you didn't trust yourself? Think of a boxer. A beginner thinks before every punch. A professional reacts automatically. He doesn't guess. He feels because he's repeated those moves thousands of times. The same happens when you learn to ride a bike. Once you know, you become what's called an unconsciously competent. Your brain now rides it for you. Intuition is born the same way, through practice. And when you learn to trust it, you stop fearing the future and begin creating it. Working on changing your beliefs is difficult, but it's the only way to break through the barriers your mind spent years building to keep you in a safe comfort zone. If even one of these 13 questions sounded familiar, it's time to rewrite your beliefs. Doing that will inevitably change your results. Just remember, life is an ocean. Storms and currents will always be there. Your beliefs are your compass and your sails. Your beliefs strongly affect your actions in the moment, and therefore write the scenarios of your future when you think you have all the control. With limiting beliefs, the ship of your life drifts through the ocean like dead wood. With the right set of beliefs, even headwinds become the very force that drives you forward. And if you decide today to raise your sails and set your course, your results won't just change, they will become inevitable. If you don't subscribe, the algorithm will pretend we never met, and chances are you'll never see us again. So hit that button and let's keep growing together.